Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home.
Okay, well, I was gonna talk about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, since last year I did Halloween 2, but then I came across something rather interesting.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Where did that anger come from?
I hate Halloween 3.
Apparently I already talked about Halloween 3. That's news to me because I don't remember doing that at all.
Stupid movie, tricking people into thinking they were going to see Michael Myers and instead giving us a rejected Outer Limits episode about masks.
That certainly sounds like something I would say. A Halloween movie without Michael Myers as the killer is like a Jason movie without Jason as the killer, and Jason's been the killer since the very beginning. This is incredibly surreal. I mean, what are these people? I think that Crabtree guy might be my neighbor. She looks kinda like someone who used to sell big box VHS tapes. And what the fuck, these robots can talk? Well, now I'm not surprised I don't remember talking about Halloween 3, since apparently I did it during a giant drug trip. So let's talk about Halloween 4 instead. Halloween 4 answers what we've all been asking since 1978. What would the original Halloween be like if it sucked? Halloween 3 was meant to take the series in a more anthology direction, with each sequel being about a different story centered around Halloween. But when Halloween 3 was a commercial disappointment, Michael Myers was brought back for several unoriginal sequels that are all insultingly inferior to the first one. So, goody. John Carpenter was approached to direct Halloween 4 and collaborated with writer Dennis Etchison on the script. The script, however, was rejected for being too cerebral. How cerebral are we talking? Are we talking Michael Myers' mom on a horse cerebral? Or it's not a direct carbon copy of the first one cerebral? So Carpenter sold off the rights to producer Mustafa Akkad, and due to an impending writer's strike, writer Alan B. McElroy had 11 days to pitch the story and send in the final draft. They were in safe hands. McElroy's later writing credits would include Spawn, Wrong Turn, and Left Behind. Yep, this is much better than, doing something different. All the ingredients are here. We have Michael escaping from custody. Loomis hangs out with the sheriff. The sheriff's daughter is one of the victims. Michael eats a dog. He steals clothes from a mechanic. A kid is bullied at school. There's a clown costume. Because doing the same thing, only without the suspense, will truly make it as good as the original. The film opens on October 30th, 1988, so it shouldn't be called Halloween, seeing how on October 30th we celebrate John Adams' birthday. But thankfully, we get that hauntingly beautiful Halloween theme. Which appears to have been lost in the wind somewhere? Good of Michael to return, they could use an extra farmhand. Why are they even celebrating Halloween when all of the children were killed off at the end of Halloween 3? I'm only guessing. I still don't remember watching that. But there's little Buddy's corpse being used as a Halloween decoration. This film is apparently for those who thought the original looked too much like California, and since this one looks more like the Midwest, clearly that makes this a better film. They even brought Donald Pleasance back as a mailbox. The ambulance is on its way to pick up Michael Myers, and it's gonna take them a while to get there since they're not moving. It's good of them to credit John Carpenter for the theme that they're not even playing. Michael Myers is being transferred from one institution to another because he can't escape without that happening.
Jesus. Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place.
We strictly practice Scientology at this institution. And if you missed out on the first two films...
A decade ago, Halloween night, he murdered 16 people, maybe more, trying to get to his sister. Nearly got it, too. But his doctor, of all people, shot him 6 times.
Thank you. That's for the one guy in the audience who hasn't seen Halloween 1 and 2, but for some reason is going to see Halloween 4. Plus, the poster already gave us a recap. I believe it means it's been 10 years since the loss of Ben Tramer, thank you very much. And we still haven't gotten a proper Ben Tramer memorial in Haddonfield. The movie wants to remind you of the first one so much that it puts the original movie's mask on the poster, even though that's not the mask he wears in the film. That explosion at the end of part 2 has kept Michael in a coma, but only put a couple of scars on his hand. Still haven't heard that theme yet. Too little, too late. I see Dr. Lecter is really happy to see him go. I understand why he's being transferred. Being in a coma for 10 years has made him very troublesome. Hopefully he at least waits until the ambulance is a block away before he tries escaping. That's just one of the few extra gore scenes shot and inserted by John Carl Beechler, who ironically directed Friday the 13th Part 7, a movie in which all the gore is cut out. Michael is crossing parallel universes to kill remake Annie Brackett before the Rob Zombie movies can be made. Danielle Harris plays Laurie Strode's daughter, Jamie Lloyd, who lives with a foster family.
Do you love me, Rachel? Serious questions tonight. Of course I love you.
Answered in a way that makes her act very annoyed at being polite. Of course I love your pea casserole, Grandma. Maybe she's just tired. I'm sure Rachel here is a very good foster sister.
We're not really sisters, Jamie. But that doesn't mean that I love you any less.
It just means I can only love you as much as I can tolerate anyone who isn't my flesh and blood. And I'm a bitch! Laurie survived 2 Halloween films only to be killed in an accident off camera, which is only slightly less insulting than the script to Halloween Resurrection killing her. All Jamie has to remember her by is this still shot from the first Halloween. Oh, and her murderous uncle. Wow, this is moving fast. Maybe it'll be a short film after all. Her foster parents are running way too slow to catch her. Oh, it was a dream. So I guess she's psychic since she correctly envisioned what mask he was gonna be wearing. Whew, I sure hope that psychic bullshit isn't visited in part 5. And like hell, this is Haddonfield. Where are the palm trees? Wrong title card. This is Halloween 4. Rachel is given the unfortunate news that she has to babysit Jamie. Hopefully she doesn't overreact.
I think tonight Brady was ready to make a commitment. But now my future relationship, my engagement, my marriage, my children, and your grandchildren have all been wiped out because I have to babysit.
No, future generations will be affected when Michael Myers kills you. Jamie overheard Rachel complaining, but Rachel makes it all better.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
What I meant was that my life would be so much better if you weren't here. Surprisingly, Jamie is disinterested in trick-or-treating. It's not like her uncle tried murdering her mom on that particular date or anything. Let's see, Michael Milhouse Myers. Got it. Dr. Loomis shows back up, having grown an ear on the side of his face, and is still stressed about Halloween 1978.
I don't want anyone to have to live through that night again.
But those movies made money, so it's gonna happen several more times. Looking at it, I think Michael's mask is modeled after Dr. Hoffman here, played by Michael Pataki, who correctly predicted Michael's powers.
Whatever he hits, he destroys.
A better part 4 than Halloween 4. Unfortunately, this accident has caused all the blood donations to spill everywhere.
He's gone.
Way to sound annoyed by it. Poor guy's just frustrated he has to go through another one of these movies. They suggest the crash killed Michael, which between getting shot 6 times in part 1, twice in part 2, and blown up at the end, I'm sure it was a car crash that killed him. Speaking of, how can Michael Myers see in this film when he was shot in the eyes at the end of part 2? I can buy him surviving multiple gunshot wounds and explosions, but not bullets to the eyes. Unless Michael is Daredevil. But with Michael escaping, Dr. Loomis can monologue again.
You're talking about him as if he were a human being. That part of him died years ago.
Yeah, it was killed by his doctor's horrible bedside manner. Perhaps the town can be saved by Darkman. Never mind, Darkman's kind of a dick in this. You know, this could all be a coincidence. Perhaps Dr. Loomis stumbled upon the set of The Hitcher. Anyone seen Rutger Hauer around? I do believe this is Illinois, mainly for the tremendous amounts of Lincoln pictures on the wall. I'll know it's Springfield if they serve him a horseshoe sandwich. Loomis somehow knows this is Michael, despite Michael now being a whole foot taller, and the coma apparently made his muscles even stronger.
God damn you.
Tender loving care my ass! He shouldn't have gone in there anyway. The open light is off. And check this out. Bigger budget and more explosions clearly make this not as good as the first one. Even if you do remember the first movie where the bullies bring up the boogeyman.
Boogeyman, boogeyman, Jenny's uncle's a boogeyman.
10 years later and they're still talking about the boogeyman, I thought Uli Lamel killed off any notion of the boogeyman being scary. Speaking of the first one...
You remember Lindsay, don't you? Hi, Jamie.
Yes, I remember Lindsay from the first movie. Couldn't get either of the Richards sisters to take up the role, huh? Jamie decides that she does want to go trick-or-treating, and Discount Freddy Krueger is reminding me that I could be watching a better movie. Vincent Drug was Bruno Mattei's least popular pseudonym. Nothing is too soon in Haddonfield, which is why they still carry Michael Myers masks on the wall, and the same clown outfit Michael used when murdering his sister. Rachel's boyfriend, Brady, is very pissed that she has to babysit.
When did you find this out?
This morning.
Well, you found out this morning. Well, why didn't you tell me before? I mean, it's 5 o'clock now, Rachel.
Don't get angry.
Yeah, handle the situation like she did.
What am I supposed to tell Brady? Sorry, but I've got to babysit my foster sister. Go and have fun by yourself.
See? You two are made for each other. And why is his name Brady? Is Bobby Brady from the Brady Bunch a production assistant on this movie? That is actually true. And no one sees a giant with third-degree burns walking around. Dr. Loomis, meanwhile, is hitchhiking back home after deciding against living with a family of dodos. No, don't go with them. They're going to Crystal Lake, not Haddonfield. Ride with this guy. He's got that one thing that'll get you through the next few movies. Booze.
You're hunting it, ain't you?
It's good that he's getting a ride from one serial killer to capture another serial killer. Movie Halloween is where you can openly TP someone's tree and no one gives a shit. I guess the John Wayne Gacy outfit was always popular in Haddonfield. And Rachel is really rocking that Elizabeth Shue costume. Even though Michael knows who she is, he still breaks into her house where she hasn't cleaned up her pictures. And why does she have a picture of Michael clearly taken on the night he killed his sister? Loomis goes to see Sheriff Meeker, who will beat the shit out of Michael, just as he did his son, Henry Hill.
Myers has been locked up since before she was born. He's never laid eyes on her.
I understand why they're skeptical. They were skeptical last time, too. And what was the worst that happened? All right, 16 dead people. They go searching for Jamie, but I hope they put an extra guard on Ben Tramer's family just to be safe. Uh-oh, it's those bullies again.
That clown costume's really cool. Really?
Clown costumes. Winning over bullies since never. They're at the sheriff's place where she catches Brady with the sheriff's daughter. The sex must be so good that they're taking time out to give out Halloween candy.
I mean, you blow off for a date at the last minute.
So you hop on to the next best thing? I thought you were different from other guys.
Oh, I'm different. It's just that...
Hey, look, Rachel, I can explain. You're a huge bitch. Their breakup is less awkward than when they both appeared in the after-school special Just Tipsy, Honey. Michael being in Haddonfield may be bad news, but there's no way this dog is shutting down his bar. Unfortunately, there's no answer at the police station.
What's going down? Where we going, Earl? We're going to bed. Phone never just rings at a police station. No way. No how.
Wake up the sheriff.
That is the whitest thing ever said in a horror film. And something tells me this isn't the first time these guys have jumped the gun. Literally and figuratively. Meanwhile, we finally get that Bucky Barnes origin story. That kill was just for Michael. He's missed decades worth of 4th of Julys and really wanted to see fireworks. This always happens. You look away for 3 seconds and you and your sister are on the shitty side of town. Here she is walking through the alternate 1985 from Back to the Future 2. Maybe Jamie is over here by these abandoned cars. Seems like the kind of place she'd hang out. Here she is looking like most kids who lose their babysitter. She doesn't give a shit. Man, Rachel is never gonna find...
Jamie!
Huh. Well, that was easy. Probably would have found her sooner if she hadn't checked the junkyard first. But now Loomis and the sheriff need to find them, which will never... Halloween 4. A sequence of events working out perfectly fine. But I question using cloning technology on Michael while he was institutionalized. What is with the popularity of the Halloween 4 mask before the movie is even released? Does Silver Shamrock still put out masks? Is that why there appears to be only 3 masks in this town? Even though this was a prank, Loomis seemed to fully believe that Michael had now cloned himself. Back at the sheriff's station, a slaughter seems to have unfolded. Okay, are we sure Rutger Hauer as the Hitcher isn't to blame here? The evidence is really piling up. I understand Michael killing the law enforcement, seeing how bullets have totally been proven to harm him. Anything new to add, Doctor?
How can a man do this, Loomis? Tell me. It isn't a man.
Sorry, can't quote the first movie right now. Need to shit? Ah, good. Just what we need. Duck Dynasty fans.
We're gonna fry his ass.
These men may be the only defense you've got.
A group of armed, drunken rednecks roaming around on Halloween looking for someone in a mask? I see no problem here. Now give them a chance. Maybe they got something.
Shit, Earl. It's Ted Hollister.
Ted Hollister? You prick! That's Ben Tramer's cousin!
You dumb son of a bitch. You said you saw Myers.
Well, if you can't trust a redneck with a gun when he said he saw something, who can you trust? Meanwhile, in a scene so tame that televised versions don't need to cut out shit, Kelly and Brady's sex time is cut short when her dad comes home. The sheriff has nothing to worry about. She has a no nudity clause. And look, at least Brady gets to shoot one load tonight.
Well, yeah. I catch you grope my daughter. I'll use that shotgun on you. You understand?
Okay, but I can still have sex with her, right? First things first, a bottle of sherry. This is about as suspenseful as hanging out in a house and trying to sleep. According to Kelly's shirt, cops do it by the book, and also don't wear bras. I don't know why they're trying to protect Jamie from Michael. This movie is directed by Dwight Little, who also directed Marked for Death, and we saw what happened to Jamie in that movie.
Johnny! They hurt my baby!
Forget Michael, protect her from Jamaican drug dealers. Nothing like a cast that isn't scared, but annoyed.
Jamie's sleeping. When can we go home?
When there's not a serial killer after you, shut the fuck up! And let Dr. Loomis spout out more trailer lines.
Hell of a night.
Not over yet.
I know, the movie's still got 28 minutes left. Thanks for reminding me. It's really important when we see Rachel and Kelly bicker when a murderer is after them.
I didn't know you and Brady had anything, okay? You knew. You just didn't care.
You know, this doesn't really work when both of them are the bitchy girl. At least the sheriff knows what the real threat is.
Hey, I got a town full of beer bellies running around the dock with shotguns. Who's gonna be next?
I know exactly who's gonna be next. Ted Hollister's family. Any other insight?
Pretty boring out here.
I know. If only something would happen. Don't worry about her. She may be dead now, but she's about to come back as Bride of Reanimator. I don't know why Rachel is upset. Brady is all hers now. The movie is so proud of its severed head that it shows it not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Right now.
Not without Jamie!
They're so focused on the head that they completely lost Jamie. How are they gonna find...
Jamie.
The suspense is truly the killer of this film. Relax, they got plenty of time to flee. Michael is walking as if he shit his pants and doesn't want it to drip down his legs. I trust Brady's instincts. This is what you do in a gunfight. You just hit someone with it. Oh my god, he off-screened him to death. Michael chases Rachel and Jamie onto the roof, and you know what would help if she weren't dressed like Bozo the Clown's nutsack? Rachel actress Ellie Cornell was actually injured during this scene by a protruding nail from the roof, but completely unfazed, she finished the scene after a brief visit to the hospital. I may have issues with this movie, but respect. If only Jamie was dressed like Santa Claus, she'd be able to go down the chimney. When Jamie gets down with the help of a rope, Rachel takes the shortcut. She's fine. No, seriously, she's fine. Michael is now instantly jealous that she survived a much bigger fall than him. And speaking of the first one... Look, if we have her saying the same lines as Jamie Lee Curtis, and even naming the character Jamie, surely this will be regarded as one of the best slasher films. She's now completely on her own. She'll never be rescued, and...
Going out here alone?
What the hell is Loomis doing out there? They break into the local school, where Michael tries to be hip by putting on a Simon LeBont mask instead. It's one of the scenes in the movie where he's wearing a blonde wig that was originally used before switching to the Pat Riley mask. The blonde wig was changed when it was deemed too disrespectful to Ben Tramer. Good choice. Michael has the right idea, though. If he just stands there, they'll hurt themselves on their own by either falling down the stairs or falling off a roof. Aha, the cavalry has arrived.
In the school.
Oh, good. So Rachel and Jamie are about to get shot. Actually, this is their first good idea. They leave and let the police handle it, though they still act like jackasses when they do see the police. Yes, fire a gun into the air as the police are coming down the street. That'll prove that you're the sane one. Michael, however, tired of being teabagged by truck nuts, makes his way from the bottom of the truck. Finally, Ted Hollister has been avenged. Props to Rachel here. When Michael falls off the roof and stands in the road, she actually does run him over. That's a smarter option than trying to handhold him to death like Jamie does. Jesus Christ, this is the most pro-armed militia horror film until Texas Chainsaw 3D came around. Good work, boys. You've inconvenienced him until the next movie.
Michael Myers is in hell.
Yeah, he was shot a bunch of times and fell into a hole of shit. Truly, that finished him off. He's not gonna want to show himself with poo all over his clothes. As a reward, they all treat themselves to a viewing of the first Halloween movie. That's a classic. Wait, this isn't the first Halloween.
No! 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 No!
Huh. What? Oh my god, it's just like the ending of Friday the 13th Part 5, when it suggests that survivor Tommy Jarvis will go on to become the next killer in the franchise. And I don't mean it's similar because the endings are the same. I mean it's similar because the next installments completely ignore those endings. Halloween 4 came out 6 years later after the previous Halloween film, and this is what they came up with? Although I'm sure bringing Michael Myers back brought them a much bigger profit than Halloween 3. Nope! Both movies brought in roughly the same $12 million profit. Yep, totally worth abandoning that anthology idea. Okay, maybe I'm being too hard on this film, because I am constantly comparing it to a much better classic film that this movie keeps throwing reminders of. Maybe I'll be much more lenient on this film if I compare it to the next movie, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough.
Fuck off, Wade.